Henry Ford was an American engineer and businessman. He started making cars in 1896 and founded the Ford Motor Company. Henry Ford was born July 30, 1863, on a farm in Springwells Township, Michigan. His father, William Ford, was born in County Cork, Ireland, to a family that had emigrated from Somerset, England in the 16th century. His mother, Mary Ford, was born in Michigan as the youngest child of Belgian immigrants. Her parents died when she was a child and she was adopted by neighbors, the O'Hearns. Henry Ford's siblings were Margaret Ford, Jane Ford, William Ford and Robert Ford. Ford finished 8th grade at a one-room school, Springwells Middle School. He never attended high school. He later took a bookkeeping course at a commercial school. His father gave him a pocket watch when he was 12. At 15, Ford dismantled and reassembled the timepieces of friends and neighbors dozens of times, gaining the reputation of a watch repairman. At 20, Ford walked 4 miles to their Episcopal church every Sunday. Ford was devastated when his mother died in 1876. His father expected him to take over the family farm eventually, but he despised farm work. He later wrote, "I never had any particular love for the farm, it was the mother on the farm I loved." In 1879, Ford left home to work as an apprentice machinist in Detroit, first with James F. Flower and Brothers, and later with the Detroit Dry Dock Company. In 1882, he returned to Dearborn to work on the family farm, where he became adept at operating the Westinghouse portable steam engine. He was later hired by Westinghouse to service their steam engines. He married Clara Bryant and had one child named Edsel Bryant Ford. Ford left home for Detroit, Michigan to start his mechanical career. In 1903, Henry Ford helped start the Ford Motor Company. He was the owner of the company. The company sold its first car, which was the Model T car, on July 23, 1903. Ford became president of the company in 1906. In 1908, Ford's company began making the Ford Model T car. Ford said that he wanted to make a motor car for the great multitude. This meant that he thought that most Americans should be able to afford to buy a car and not just a few rich people. In order to reach this goal, he chose to make the design as simple as possible. All his cars would be made the same way. They were even all the same color, black. It cost $850 to buy a Model T car. Even though that was a lot of money back then, it was still very cheap for a car. Many people wanted to buy Model T cars. In fact, so many people wanted to buy them that Ford was having a hard time making enough cars to sell one to everybody who wanted to buy one. Ford helped develop an idea, not much used before his time, called the assembly line, and started using it in his factories in 1913. Because of the assembly line, making new cars would not take as long. He put a moving belt in his factory. Cars moved along the belt, and workers put on one part at a time. Each worker would only be responsible for putting one part on cars. The assembly line was a big success. Cars did not take as long to make, and they were cheaper to buy now. By 1916, it only cost $360 to buy one of Ford's cars, and more than 3 times as many people were buying his cars now. The Ford Model T changed America. It made it easier for people to live in the city instead of the country. Ford was also known for his political views. He had been against World War I because he thought that it was a waste of time. He died on April 7, 1947, of a cerebral hemorrhage at Fair Lane, his estate in Dearborn, at the age of 83. A public viewing was held at Greenfield Village where up to 5,000 people per hour filed past the casket.